God had sent the message through his prophets that there was a king coming. And that king was going to be the greatest of all kings, and there'd have a lineage, and there'd be he would bring back all those that had been captured and all. And so the people were looking for someone great, someone that had all these characteristics and qualities. But yet they were looking in the wrong place. These first 10 chapters of Isaiah, talk about some of the things that had happened within Israel as to why they were in the predicament that they were in. And interestingly enough, they use the analogy of a forest being cut down. We think of all the stuff sometimes that's in the way of us seeing what the finish line is, and you think of all the thicket and the woods and the trees growing up, and sometimes you need to go wipe all that out and get rid of it so you can see past what's in front of you and all, and see to the end. And so that analogy is used here by Isaiah, is that all of the excess, all of that that's not needed, all of that, because a lot of times we have property, and in the front of our property is nice clear land, and then on the backside there we've got all that we don't necessarily need, and don't use, and you have to sometimes get rid of that excess that's not being used. And so the analogy the writer uses is that he cut down all of that. When he cut down all of it, one would think it's just like cutting down the people of Israel, and because they continue to disobey, and that's what happens is whenever they would send someone in, the Assyrians weren't doing anything right. God used them to punish Israel. It's interesting that we look at what happened and all, and say, well, we ain't doing right, but at least we're the children of God, and so this group of people ain't even God-fearing people and all. And when you use that term God-fearing, well, if you're supposedly God-fearing people, why did you make the decisions that you make? Why do you continue to turn against God? Why do you continue to serve the Baals and all? But God wasn't promoting Assyria, but instead they were there at this time to use them to punish Israel. And so the cutting down of the forest is a representation of the people as well, that they were. But of course there's a remnant that's always spared. We know when we go in and we clear some territory, there's always something that's there, or we replant something and all. And so he's going to talk about in this first verse, the stump that's coming up and all, and we think of that stump that's there, and I've got all this clear land now, and what are we going to do with it? Is we're going to have something else that's going to grow that's going to be better. We know that when we go in and tend our gardens or whatever it is, and we go pull all the weeds up, and it makes the opportunity for something better to grow up. And so we have to clear out the excesses in our life. And we feel like it's things that we need, right? We accumulate all of these things in life, and we say these are things that I need. It's things for me to prosper like everyone else. I want to be like my neighbors. I need a king. I need what they got. I got to buy all the stuff they got. I got to have the large house and the excess of cars and clothes and all of that. And all of the luxuries that you accumulate sometimes get in the way of you saying that God is what you need. And so when he says, I'm going to get rid of all of this, and guess what? I'm still going to provide exactly what you need in order to see me. And that brings us into today's lesson. He says, there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his root. Why did he say a stem of Jesse and not out of David? Because if that's what we're looking for, is we're looking for a king that's coming, and we're pointing to lineage, and David was a king, and so why would the writer not say that it's a lineage out of the line of David instead of out of Jesse? We look at that and all, and we associate a king with certain things and people being born into this particular, and they look this type of way, and they come with money, and sometimes we mislook what we should be looking for, which is exactly what the people did. They were thinking of someone coming out of this lineage and all, and well, it's someone that's going to sit on the throne and all, and he's got to have these characteristics, but God is something that is all encompassing, And we limit God a lot of times, don't we? We say, well, God is this, and let's put God in a bottle and show you that this is what God is. And we limit him, and not to, God is something that we can't even fathom that encompasses everything. And that's why we all too often judge people and all, and we see people, and there are certain stature, there are certain color, there are certain height, there are certain this, there are certain that, and we prejudge and say, well, there's nothing good that can come out of this person because of the way they look, or the way they walk, or where they sat out, or how their voice sounds and all, and we too often limit God that way too.
True.
And so instead of saying out of David, let's say that it's coming out of the stem of Jesse. Well, when people hear that, they say, well, Jesse. That guy's out there herding sheep out there. He's got 8 boys that's out there doing it with him and all. Wait a minute, you're saying someone's coming out of that lineage there? He got another boy that's going to come up that we don't know about? What are they doing that's great that's going to be king-like? In order to comprehend and understand, we have to allow God to work with us on that manner in order for us to understand that, out of the person that's at the back, that I'm going to make him the greatest. And it's hard to comprehend that. And literally, that's what happened is from the least shall become the greatest, is we come in and we're looking for someone, and he comes talk to Jesse and all, let me bring all my boys forward and show them to you and all. Well, these still like the one I was looking for. Well, I ain't got nobody but that last one left, and he's back there tending the sheep back there. Let's not overlook that God can use Ruth. God can use the woman that hid the guys up there. We've got all these different things going on, and sometimes we shortchange ourselves. Because God can use every one of us. We come in here and we receive, what God has given, and our job is to go out and feed others. And we say, well, I'm not the pastor. I can't do it. I'm not Brother Wilbert. I can't go out and do this thing. I'm not a nurse. I can't go and tend to this person and all. But we've all been given something by God. And all we got to do is have 2 or 3 of us present and be believing in the same thing and all, and ask God, and he's going to work miracles for you. Doesn't matter what your stature or your station is. So he says that there shall come forth a rod. And so we're thinking of a rod, we're thinking of something that's growing, this firm, something that comes up. So we're looking at a wasteland, and we're talking about something that comes up that's going to be sustainable. And it's coming up here, and it's coming out of the stem of Jesse. Of course, they're using this whole analogy of trees growing and all. We think of, what they do and all. And just this one branch of that tree that comes up, that grows out of it. And notice that word branch isn't lowercase, but is uppercase. And so there's a lot of offspring that comes out of the lineage of Jesse. And so whose particular are we looking for here? So I got to go look through all of his lineage, and all he's got 8 boys, and through all of those boys, there's someone here, there's someone going, and which one are we looking for? Is it that one? Is it this one? That branch, someone specific. It says, the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, and the spirit of wisdom and understanding and all. And so as they start describing this person, we know it's the Davidic dynasty. Humble nature, I meant to bring that out as well, and so that's why as well we mentioned Jesse instead of David and all. Is the Messiah is someone who is humble, and we also need to humble ourselves instead of trying to be so arrogant and thinking that here's where we got someone kingly coming. I'm supposed to be sitting up on that echelon with them and all, and but we can be a humble body and allow God to work through us, and we still can receive things of that nature and still excel and exceed.
True.
And so he mentions that in verse 2 here, the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. And actually here in this next couple of verses here, he mentions 7 different characteristics or qualities, and says the Spirit of the Lord rest upon, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. We know that number 7 is a number of completion and And so you think of the characteristics that he's mentioning and all, and Jesus possesses all of these characteristics and all, and you think of the importance of what these things are. They mention wisdom and understanding, counsel and might, and so knowledge and fear. We think of these things that happen and all, and we think of how these kings are, and they supposedly claim that they have a lot of these characteristics too and all, and if you're counseling people, where are you receiving your instruction to counsel them from? You should be coming from God instead of coming from you, but sometimes people don't do that. They make their own decisions, or let me seek this guy over here that's got no connection with God and all, and I'm going to receive counsel from him, and I'm going to tell you what to do. If I want to make a decision and I'm going to go and seek counsel for what decision I need to make, shouldn't I go to someone who knows it all, who has seen it all, who is from the beginning until the end, instead of someone who has a limited knowledge and understanding? I might say I'm going to go ask my friend because they got my best interest at heart. Do they really? When I can go to God, and God is going to show me everything that I need to know. And he's sending me a king who believes that everything that comes, everything I'm doing is not about me. Yeah. It's about, and that's the very first thing they mention is the Spirit of the Lord is on him. Yeah. And so it's not about the Spirit of Jesus, the Spirit of, I'm the son of Mary, I'm the son of Joseph and all. It ain't about that. It's about doing God's work. Yeah. He said that every time, where you coming to change things, no, I'm coming to fulfill what the Word says. That's it. He was fearful is an important thing. And if I won't get that next one. Sharp sense of smell, yeah. So it's interesting that they mention one of these things when they say the word understanding and all. I got to looking that up and all, and that understanding is you smell things out, and so we're not talking about smell as in smelling what's in the kitchen that's cooking. But sometimes smelling out what people are trying to tell you is incorrect. Yeah. And so it's when you have that person of understanding and all, and they see two people come in and they're trying to decipher what the truth is or what's going on or what people are hiding, because sometimes people, put on a sheep's clothing and all, and they're really something else and all, and how do you determine whether what this person is doing, saying is logical or is true or not? And in order to understand and comprehend that, that's got to be something that comes from God, and so they're able to smell it out, in other words, is what they're saying. Yeah. Who was that did that? Was that, my mind is playing tricks on me. Was it Esau? Was it they put on the brother's clothing or whatever and all, and daddy's eyes was growing dim and all, and he says, let me go in here and I'm going to put this on, and he's going to smell, and he's going to say that, well, this is my son, and you're stealing your brother's birthright and all by going in and doing things the wrong way. And that's kind of where this understanding comes from with the smelling and all. Yeah. Is sometimes people will trick you in certain things in that manner and all, but I'm able to see through that because of the intuition that God has given me. I'm able to see through the ruse and all that you're trying to use. And it finishes up verse 2 again, talking about the fear of the Lord. And so, what fear is he having? It's good that we understand that there is a natural inkling towards this person. I'm revering this person and all, and it's not a fear as in, man, I can't be around this person, but it's more of there's a certain level of respect, and so he is God on earth. He's the only son, and he's got all power in his hands, but yet instead of saying, I got all power in my hand, didn't you hear that? Don't you know that angels worship at my feet, that they tend to me and all? But it's about what my Father has me doing. And if you take a being that has all power, we've seen these people that's had visions and they've been in the upper room and they say, well, they got all these things, these winged creatures and all, and they're doing this and they're all in his feet and they're pampering him and all, and he's the only one that's able to hold the scroll and all, but yet he says that all of this stuff's done because of my Father. anyone else's worship, it all goes to their head, right? Look at what I did. Look at what I said.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Good.
He says he shall make him a quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. So we don't have to think about it either. You know, sometimes, we go through the motions and all and make decisions based on the physical aspects and all, and all the decisions continue to be wrong. And that's the last choice that we make is, well, man, why is it I keep doing this and I keep running into a roadblock and I keep running into a roadblock, and the last choice we make is, let me go turn to God.
Yeah.
Amen. That's what we do. Yes, sir.
And I don't think we do it on purpose. It's just, as part of growing up in life is, you realize that parents took care of you for so long, and they do this, and they do this, and they do all these steps with you, and at some point there's a little bit of independence. And so as you start gaining a little bit of independence, I rely on this person a little bit, and I rely on them a little bit less, and a little bit less, and a little bit less, and I get to a point where my life is about, I don't rely on people anymore. I got it all now.
Yeah.
They prepared me. I can do it.
Yeah.
You think of them training wheels that was put on that bike and all when you first got it and all, and you drive with them training wheels, and the parents try to take them off. I ain't ready for you to take the training wheels off yet. I still want you to hold your hand on me and all. And
Yeah.
God's got that hand on you. You get to a point where you say, well, I can do this now, and let me go and watch me. And go ahead.
It's, one of the things that kind of stands out with me is that the Bible calls us the children of God. Just as you were giving that illustration about riding a bike. We're always going to be children of God. Always something more to learn. Always a point of growing until that moment of the twinkling, when Christ returns. Twinkle in the eye, we shall be changed, and the corrupt will put on incorruptible. When we began to rely on our own reason, we screw up. Just like when Joshua, when the Gideonites came, and they didn't inquire of the Lord. They inspected in the natural. They saw the bread was molded. They saw their shoes were worn out. Their clothes were worn out. It was all a ruse. But because they didn't inquire of the Lord, they were deceived by it. It's the same thing we were just saying earlier. We got to have the mind of God.
Yes, sir. Isn't it wonderful that as they're describing this future king, and it says, he shall make him a quick understanding, fearful of the Lord, shall not judge after sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears, but with the righteousness shall he judge. Because we know that the prior kings, they made decisions based on money. And they said, well, this guy I know, and it's going to benefit me, and so I'm going to give him a favorable judging, regardless of whether who all saw him doing it or not. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, so he's innocent. But this other guy back here, he's got no money. There's nothing I'm standing to gain off of him, and there's only one person that maybe saw him. We know that the standard is, well, you got to have a couple witnesses. There's not enough witnesses. That's okay. I trust this man's word right here. You're guilty. Let's go kill him. Yeah. That doesn't still happen, does it?
We see that. More so now.
Yeah.
People are still people.
Yeah. But he says, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth, and he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And so we've got someone who doesn't have to rely on, let me go call up the executioner, let me go and see if I've got all the authority to do this and all. He's got authority already there. And with the stuff that comes out of his mouth, he literally can say this, and it happens.
Yeah.
And we know that starts from the very beginning, is in the beginning was God, and he spoke things into existence and all. And so we're talking about a king that's coming who is equal to God and all, who can also speak things into non-existence. So he's got all that power. You say, man, I got a king coming like that? And he fears God? And he takes counsel from God? Again, there's nothing wrong with having the training wheels on, and although we think that God has removed the training wheels, we just don't see them anymore. Because although God might remove the training wheels, now he's just holding the back of your seat and you don't see it. right here behind you, keep going, I'm right here. And at some point we let him go, we said, I'm right here behind you, keep going. He says, and righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. And so we know that as you gird yourself about, when we think about the time period, they used to sash themselves up with something and all, and men nowadays use a belt, but the day they used to use them suspenders and all, and you think of how you girded yourself up to keep everything from falling. And as he says, can you imagine that when you remove that girdle, remove those suspenders and that belt, everything goes, to the side and all. And so, same thing with righteousness. Can you imagine that this person doesn't use righteousness to gird up all of the qualities? So we mentioned these 7 characteristics and all. And what's to keep these 7 characteristics there? That righteousness and all. And let's imagine that belt of righteousness is taken off. What is this king now displaying? What characteristics do they have now? Do I really want to be around them if they remove that righteousness and they say they're not anymore, they're not using wisdom and understanding and counsel and might and knowledge and the fear of God because they've removed the girdle and all of those things that are no longer there. And so now I have a king that exercises his might without all those things. But he says, the wolf shall also dwell with the lamb. So when this king comes and reigns again, we take things that are the very antithesis of each other. What that means is the very opposite. Things that are the enemy, things that are on one end of the spectrum or the other. And so we take something that is this, and you say, man, this is the natural predator of this thing here, and you tell me now they're going to walk hand in hand and all like they're best friends. And people will say, wait a minute, what are you talking about here? That's not possible. He mentions some of these things. He says the wolf shall dwell with the lamb. We know that the wolf is the natural predator of the lamb and all, and that's why you have certain animals out there with them trying to protect the sheep and all. He said, wait a minute, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to provide a barrier. I don't have to put a goat out there and all to keep them at bay. In the very beginning and all, when Eden was there, all these animals were there. He never mentioned anything about them having any issues with one another. And so he said when this king comes back, there's going to be a harmonious state that we're going to exist in. People aren't going to have issues with each other. People and animals aren't going to have issues with each other. The rift is going to be fixed and everyone's going to be perfect. No strife at all. He says the leopard shall lie down with the kid, the calf and the young lion, the fatling together. A little child shall lead them. Can you imagine a little child leading things that's older, things that's bigger, things that are ferocious and all? The thought of being a lion, I can't even put a man with a lion over here, but yet you're going to say a little kid's going to do it? That's a state of being that I want to exist in. But we can all too have that if we allow this king to take his throne. Said the cow and the bear shall feed, and their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. Again, we're taking something that we can't fathom because we know that there's carnivorous animals and all, that they have to exist off of meat. And you're telling me that now, that thing that I know right there to be the king of the jungle is not going to go and try to eat that cow that's right beside him, and they're going to go dip water at the same spot, and they're both eating grass over there? Imagine a world that way. I don't have to go hunt and gather anymore. I don't have to go work with the sweat of my brow. I don't have to go worry that animal's going to turn on me because I'm just trying to feed my family and all. And I can go pluck things off of a tree again like God had intended for it. Man's going to be restored to his rightful place.
I'm the king, you going.
Yes, he is.
I don't even want to come. No, you go.
Ain't in my picture.
We're going to run out of time anyway. We got 3 minutes. He says the suckling child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den. And so we know that an asp is a snake. And so a kid would then put his hand there and play with a snake in his very bed there, and he could have it, and that aspen going, what? That's one of the most deadliest snakes in the world. He says, he shall not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters covered the sea. In the beginning, the waters covered the depths of the sea, right? And he says that in the end times, when this king comes back, that things are going to be restored. And they end this verse the same way, is that it's going to be restored the same way with the waters and all over the sea. So we realize that things worked in a circle there. It started out here. Mankind made some bad choices and things went this way. And at some point, because God has planned this thing to work a certain way, Satan's telling us that what had happened and all that we broke it and things were going to keep going that way in the left field and all, it was never going to be fixed again. But God already had a plan that things was going to be repaired, and that the second Adam was going to come put things back into motion and all, was going to come back this way, and it was going to go right back to the way things started at the beginning.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It's all about that second king, that second Adam coming, and us allowing him to take the throne, and not trying to prevent him from taking his rightful, and realizing that all these decisions we made, when Adam went and took that fruit and ate it, and his eyes were opened to, oh, there's other things outside this circle that God provided for me. If I'll just go back to my mindset and let God say, hey, this is what you need to see. Here's what the truth is. Quit trying to look out over here and over here like Satan told you. And things will be restored to our harmonious balance again. That is our lesson for today. Merry Christmas. Amen.
Any other comments, questions?
I do have one comment. I said I'm going to sit down. Because Dick, where we mess up is we think that the work of Christ has been completed. Though we have been made at peace with God through salvation, what is going to happen has not yet happened, because what you're talking about, the millennial rule, where how God created the earth to be a reflection of heaven, where there was total peace. All these animals existed in harmony and peace prior to the fall. Under the Christ millennium, he's going to have total peace. And then when the new Jerusalem comes, the new heaven and new earth comes, man will dwell in the earth as God created him to dwell forever in total harmony and peace with all creation. So we're at one stage of what Christ is doing, this king that you're talking about. Man, that's so good. That's really, I'm sorry. Thank you, Deacon, for letting me say it.
Anybody else?
I said we're going to say that. But Deacon name opened the door, so I went on.